Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to track 1 for Quake Battle and Roll. Game 3, DED Derby Christchurch Roller Girls All-Stars versus Auckland Roller Derby's Bolts. And there's our opening whistle. Lining up on the jam line for this first jam, Ellen McKenzie for Auckland. And Brittany Baker for DED Derby. Good old tussle there in the pack. Arsenal taking a seat for Auckland Roller Derby. Garage Project penalty box. It's Brittany Baker out first for DED Derby. I think I saw a not lead jammer signal there, but it's good for 5 points nonetheless. Star pass to number 49, Sass for Auckland Roller Derby. It looks like we're having a full 2-minute jam here with no lead signalled. Baker away, his second scoring pass, third scoring pass, 5 points. And slips past the pack on the outside again for another 5 points. Auckland Roller Derby at 19, sorry, DED at 19, Auckland Roller Derby yet to score. And gives me great pleasure to welcome Grand Crew Maku to the commentary desk.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Geeks. So I just came from the track 2, where it looks like Dunedin have got Wellington. So the loser of this game will be playing, looks like Richter City.
That's an unexpected result there.
So Renwick jamming for Auckland. Mayhem jamming with lead for Christchurch. But Renwick's through for Auckland.
Quick rundown of the officials for this game. We have our chief referee, head referee Victor. Inside pack referee is Tintin. Jammer referees fouled out, and Warner. Outside pack referees Mr. Fox, Ice, Brady, and Frare.
So the score now 22 to Christchurch, 4 to Auckland. And lining up to jam for Auckland, it's Smith. And serious crash unit for Christchurch. And crash units through.
Smith tangled up in the pack there. Serious crash unit coming around for her first scoring pass. Sweeps her way through the Auckland pack and is away.
All too easy for 5 points. Faith still being held by this wall of fury.
Attempt there by Razmataz to draw a cut, but the Auckland jammer had not stepped out of bounds.
Serious crash unit being held by the Auckland wall.
And this time the Auckland jammer is pushed out. Smith does have to recycle back. Out of play at the back, and she gets to come back in.
Arsenal back on track for Auckland. So
serious crash unit going to take a seat in the garage project.
So it's a power jam for Auckland. And Smith still on her initial pass, but with the power jam now. Bit of O from Auckland to help her through. From Arsenal. And she's made it through. With helmet cover in hand. So a scoring pass.
And of course she'll pick up a point for serious crash unit in the box there as well.
So serious crash unit is the lead jammer.
Oh, not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah.
So we'll have a 2-minute jam.
There's only 10 seconds left.
And between jams, we'll just run down for you the non-skating officials for this game. Head NSO, Purple Parfait, give us a wave. Jam Timer, Wheels of Fairy. Dread Rat, Queen Slamadala on the inside there. Rose, Hackaway, Cardinal Payne, Ms. Judgment, American Idiot, and Panda Claus make up the non-skating official crew for this game.
So Shehard jamming for Auckland. Number 13.
13, Iona Shotgun for Dead End.
2 solid walls. No lead jammer as yet. Shehard pushing hard. Pyroclastic flow sent to the box for Auckland. Sorry, the garage project box.
But it's Dead End away with lead again.
Big hit from Terra. Goating number 76.
And Iona Shotgun round the outside for a big 5 points.
Razmataz sent to the box for Christchurch. Solid wall of Terra, holding Iona Shotgun back. Terra, Flirty Harry, and Resident Evil, that 3 wall, joined by Pyroclastic Flow. And through on her initial is Shehard.
Iona
still
Shotgun.
They hold her.
Indeed, Iona Shotgun still held back. She's pushed her way around now, and there's the call. No points for Auckland. Another 4 for Dead End.
Uh-oh. We got Baker on the Gemac Motors jam line. She's playing for the wrong team.
Baker, of course, having recently transferred from Auckland to Dead End, knows the opposition well. But of course, the opposition know her well too. We have a team timeout, sponsored by Tiki Wine, called by Auckland Roller Derby.
This is their traditional 10-minute timeout. Well, it's a little earlier than normal, says Baker.
Baker versus Mackenzie on the jammer line, sponsored by Gemac Motors. Mackenzie hits for the outside. Baker
defense.
pushing through the middle.
Solid defense against Arsenal on the line. From the mighty Bash, well-earned name. And Muss running Baker back.
But she skips around the outside of that blue wall. Muss taking up position at the front and then recycling herself back.
Baker's very toe-stoppy, and she's through.
With Mackenzie
Followed
not
backwards
too
by
far behind.
the slippery fish going backwards through the pack there. Hot on her tail. Baker dummies, but hits the wall of muss.
1-0 Jam.
So that's 1 point for Auckland.
Bringing our score to 46 points to Dead End and 8 for Auckland Roller Derby.
Renwick and Mayhem lining up on the Gerac Motors jam line. Bit of confusion to start this jam from both teams. And straight through on the outside is Mayhem.
And there's good action on the outside line there. Good defence from Dead End Derby.
Yeah, she had about 5 attempts at that outside line there. Finally got knocked out.
Almost clear, but still being chased and pushed out on the corner 3 there is again recycled once again.
So that was 5 points on the initial scoring pass by Mayhem. And Auckland still yet to get onto their scoring pass.
Now it's Mayhem's turn to get bumped around on the outside line there.
Being held by Resident Evil and Flirty Harry, who downs her. No pack called, and she's through again for another 5 points for Christchurch. 4 points for Christchurch.
Renwick with cap in hand.
Renwick recycled again.
Bit of jammer pinball going on there.
Big hit on Renwick on that same outside corner.
And she's recycled again. And a call from the floor by Mayhem ends the jam. Another 3 points for Dead End.
Renwick looking a little bit winded there.
And we have a 50-point margin between Dead End at 58 and Auckland Roller Derby at 8 points. Dead End Roller Derby, of course, Dead End Derby's All-Stars having recently taken the top of the New Zealand ranking table.
Smith for Auckland, serious crash unit for Christchurch and straight through.
Auckland Roller Derby ranked number 4 in New Zealand, number 5 in this tournament, pushed down a notch by Northern Brisbane, seeded number 2. And that's a full scoring pass for serious crash unit.
Smith still on her initial. She's only got 2 blockers to get through, and she's through. Arsenal recycling serious crash unit, preventing her scoring on that final pass. She picks up 0 points for that pass. So the score now, 63 to Christchurch, 8 to Auckland, as Shihad takes to the Gerac Motors jam line up against Iona Shotgun.
And we have pivots for both teams sitting in the Garage Project penalty box. Any star passes will have to wait.
That's Sass in the box there for Auckland. I can't see the number of the Christchurch pivot. And round the outside to get lead jammer is Iona Shotgun for Christchurch. Shihad pushing hard to get through the last 2 blockers. And she's through. Both pivots back on track.
Full scoring pass for Iona Shotgun, and she calls it.
Score now 67 to Christchurch, 8 to Auckland.
As we approach the halfway mark in this first half, still a couple of minutes shy.
Some love on the Gerac Motors jam line between Muss and Baker, former teammates. Twinkle Toes Baker trying to get through the solid Auckland wall.
Meanwhile, Skate the Muss doing the Muss style of jamming.
The mighty Bash running her back.
Indeed.
Baker lead. Muss is through now for Auckland. Baker on her initial scoring pass. Oh, beautiful bit of offence.
There's the pack and calls it off.
And the mighty Bash helping her through there on the inside for 4 points. So lining up for Christchurch is Mayhem and the slippery fish Mackenzie. Team Aotearoa player. Terror with the O off the line for Auckland.
Mayhem pushed back behind Terra Satana there. Mackenzie also recycled. And she sees a clear line around the outside and she's away.
Leave a tiny gap for her. She'll go for it. That's why they call her the slippery fish.
Mayhem removing the jammer star.
She's through again on the outside. Beautiful footwork from the Ginger Ninja.
Another tiny gap for Mackenzie and she's through again for another 5 points.
That was beautiful. Let's have some noise for Mackenzie.
Meanwhile, Terror off to the box.
And there's been a star pass and the mighty Bash now has, as Mackenzie calls it off after another pass and scoring 1 point on that last pass. So the score now 19 Auckland, 71 to Christchurch.
That's a good 11-point jam for Alan Mackenzie there.
Renwick lining up with Serious Crash Unit on the Jarek Motors jam line. And that is...
I think that we've got an official timeout there to do a little bit of track repair, courtesy of Tiaro Physiotherapy.
Tiaro Physiotherapy and Pilates. The awesome Tiaro Physio is on board with Richter as a sponsor, and Jason is highly recommended. They're a physiotherapy clinic that strives for excellence in all aspects of their care. Their goal is always to get their patients back on their feet and back to work, the dance floor, the sports field, and now they are sponsors of Richter City, back on our skates. Tiaro Physio aims to work with Richter City to prevent injuries and aid fast recovery with those injuries that do happen. They're excited to help Richter continue to perform to the best of their ability.
So they fix up the bodies while the officials fix up the track.
Perfect. So both walls lining up on the Thundies pivot line. Bit of shenanigans before the whistle. Serious Crash Unit being pushed out and recycled by Arsenal.
Recycling going on at the front as well. Is that
yep.
Renwick pushed back by the DED and Derby wall. Serious Crash Unit with 2 to deal with. The pack stretching out a bit.
So that's Sass and Arsenal holding Serious Crash Unit back. Got to keep her back before the no pack is called. They're joined by Saskia.
Renwick recycled again.
And it's a power jam for Auckland.
And it'll run 2 minutes.
Renwick through. Slightly called as lead, but not lead.
Yeah. With
the fouled out.
Jammer star removed, she can't earn lead. So it will run a 2-minute jam with about a minute to run.
Sass with some helmet leakage.
Serious Crash Unit hoping, I think, there to slip by the Auckland pack, but they were onto it. well aware that their opposing jammer was standing in the box.
Ooh, Arsenal just missing serious crash unit on the outside line there. She gets through for another 5. No,
so first 5.
Sorry, that was her first pass, wasn't it? So 5 points to Renwick with 10 seconds left on the clock. Arsenal with the offence to try and help Renwick through.
A little skip from serious crash unit there, and that will earn her 4 points.
4 points to each team. Last pass.
75 to 28. DED Derby over Auckland Roller Derby League's Bolts.
Iona Shotgun lining up with Smith on the Jarek Motors start line, jam line. And 2 in the box for Christchurch, it looks like, so pack advantage Auckland.
Iona Shotgun dealing with 4 blockers. Number 27, Smith, unable to capitalise on that 4-2 advantage sent to the box, so we have a power jam for DED Derby. And Iona Shotgun twists her way around the last blockers and is away.
Guard of honour from Christchurch. No Auckland jammer on track. Some big defence from Muss, the big shoulder. And one-on-one, Iona Shotgun gets past Muss for another 4-point pass. As Smith is back on track. And the star has been passed. Muss now, your jammer for Auckland.
Iona Shotgun pushing away at the Auckland wall. Looks for the inside line, it gets closed off.
Muss now with the star in place.
And Iona Shotgun calls the jam. Picks up 3 points for the little duck and dive and shimmy and jive.
So the bruised and battered Shehard takes to the Jarek Motors jam line with her black eye. Getting some love from Baker. Slight pack advantage to Auckland. Shehard goes straight into the Christchurch wall.
Squeezed up against that inside line, skits Joe Frenick and who was that?
Skits Joe Frenick and some good defensive work for Christchurch. Neither jammer through yet.
Oh, it's Evil Knievel was the other one holding her up and is doing so again.
Ooh, Shehard trying that outside line that caught Renwick out, but she's through.
Lead jammer Auckland.
And immediately, very fast, efficient star pass by Christchurch.
Turning on to offence as soon as their defence has lapsed.
So only 2 points there. Shehard, but calling it off just in the nick of time.
An official review being called by DED Derby. A legal procedure call there.
The Wooden Spoon official review. Wooden Spoon Ice Cream sponsoring official reviews. Fingers away. So both teams scoring 2 on that last pass.
We appear to have the DED Derby jammer sitting in the box, although one suspects that that might be the subject of the official review.
So the official review, sponsored by the ice cream people Wooden Spoon. Founded in Wellington 2011, boutique freezery makes small batch handcrafted ice cream using high quality ingredients. Their flavors are inspired by memories of their childhood, adventures to new places and local treasures.
Perfect thing to cool you down after some Mexican hotness from Antojito's taco truck, I believe.
I don't know. I had the falafel outside, that was very good. The falafel comes very highly recommended. So Bruiser, the bench manager for Christchurch, and Papa Bene, the bench manager for Auckland, having a chat with the ref.
The rest of the zebra herd huddled in the middle, waiting to hear what the review is about. Head referee Victor didn't have to spend long with the zebra huddle before going back to talk to the teams. Looks like the huddle had already determined what the review was likely to be about. We may hear shortly, or we may not.
So Mackenzie lining up to jam for Auckland.
While the Garage Project penalty box still plays host to the Dead End Jammer.
So power jam for Auckland and for Mackenzie. The highest point scoring jam of the game so far has gone to Mackenzie. Be looking to do the same, close the gap.
I'm sure she'll be trying to break that record.
And she's round the outside. Beautiful footwork from the slippery fish.
Just skipping along that outside line. Pace of the pack picked up a bit, and it's the inside line this time, but she isn't able to do the same.
One-on-one, her speed gets her through. 5 points for Auckland.
Little pirouette. Meanwhile, oh, Dead End's Jammer.
Oh.
Rasmus has almost skipped around that outside line. Just a little bump with the hips and she was off.
Oh, that great work on the outside. Flirty Harry lets her through just on the inside. That was a great hit check from Flirty. Good view of it here too. Oh, and similar for Mackenzie.
Calling it in the air.
Oh dear, they ended up with 3 points, but Christchurch actually got 4 on that last pass.
Still an 8-4 jam for Auckland Roller Derby League. 88-38 is the score.
8 minutes left in this half. Quite low scoring so far.
Iona Shotgun versus Anna Renwick lining up on the Jimac Motors Jammer line with the packs on the Thunderpants pivot line. Grinding pack work here from both teams. Both jammers having a hard time making any movement.
Bit of offence from Christchurch, breaks up the Auckland wall. But still, Iona Shotgun. Spoke too soon, she's through.
Gets the better of the loosening pack.
And Auckland goating 808. Christchurch.
Bit of a tumble for Anna Renwick, but she comes up the right side of it.
Still they hold Iona Shotgun on her scoring pass. Ooh.
And again, Iona Shotgun calls the jam with 0 points to Auckland.
Perfect
4
timing.
for DED Derby.
And perfect timing on that call. She just made it past the last player.
Indeed.
Smith lines up with Mayhem.
And once again, it's the Thunderpants pivot line that the blocking pack has lined up against. Give the jammers a bit of a run-up.
Again, some O from Christchurch against the Auckland wall. They reform quickly. And Smith also behind the Auckland wall. And she's through. Christchurch lead again with Mayhem. Meanwhile, Smith still fighting this 3-wall, serious crash unit. Skulls and morphine. And
Mayhem charged onto the infield there. Recycled behind the Auckland pack by Tara Satana.
It's a solid wall from Auckland there, controlled by Terra. And it's broken up by Christchurch to allow Mayhem through again.
And a bit of a cheer there from the dead end bench.
Yeah, see why. That was some good offence.
Some hard work going on there.
And now Terra obviously has been past the star. She's your jammer for Auckland, and she pushes through, but not quite.
Just tripped over the inside line there at the end. Mayhem working her way around the back again.
Terra's
side
out.
by side with Terra, and she calls the jam.
5 points.
Which brings up 102 for Dead End Derby to Auckland's 38.
That was a big jam for Christchurch.
10 points on it.
And we got Shehard lining up with Baker again. Both teams with a full complement of skaters on the track.
Always nice to see the jammers grinning to each other.
Musk going down in the middle of the pack. And Baker through on her toes. Shehard pushed out on the outside line by the mighty Bash Bash.
While Baker slips through on the inside line.
2 mighties, 1 Bash.
5 points for Baker. Comes round to meet the pack again. And again slips through for another 5 points. Oh no. Yes, it is 5 points. Penalty going somewhere.
And again, we've had a star pass for Auckland, this time to Muss.
Mighty Bash going to take a seat. I think that was an out of play call. Had me confused there for a moment.
And that's 2 points to Auckland on that pass and 3 points to Christchurch. Lining up again is Slippery Fish Mackenzie alongside Razmataz. We've got a couple of players in the box, in the Garage Project box. That's Flirty Harry and the mighty Bash, and one other from Christchurch who I can't see.
Oh, that's right.
So pack advantage Auckland.
3 on 2. A little bit of shuffle right on the whistle there on the jammer line.
Jammer on jammer action. Oh! And through, it's your lead jammer. It's the Slippery Fish, Mackenzie.
Ducking and diving. Oh, and it's a very
It's a
loose
power
pack
jam.
there. And indeed, power jam for Ellen McKenzie, the slippery fish, with the pack advantage as well.
Oh, ideal situation for her to cash in, and she's doing so. Although there's one more blocker on track, as one more leads. Batty going to the box for Christchurch. And through again.
Absolutely skips through quickly on that inside line.
This could be the highest scoring jam of the game.
It picked up 15 already.
And she's calling it to ice the jammer from Christchurch in the box. So she had an opportunity to score some more points on that last pass, but decided to ice the Christchurch jammer.
Razmataz standing in the box. So only a few seconds left for Muss to make hay while the sun shines. I have to say I've seen this freeze the jammer in the box tactic backfire on teams more than once.
Yep, definitely.
But not today, as Muss picks up lead jammer.
But straight through the pack on her initial is Razmataz. Auckland not reforming quickly enough to hold her back.
Oh, heavy fall there for Muss, but she calls it from the ground.
Big hit, and it looks like Fury's happy with that.
4 points, looks like. Nothing for dead end on that jam. Iona shotgun. And Anna Renwick lining up on the Jim McMotors jammer line. And we have a clear box this time, so 4 on 4 in the pack.
This could be the last jam of this half. 30 seconds left on the clock.
Iona shotgun picks up lead for Dead End Derby. And Iona shotgun calls the jam as Anna Renwick comes up to meet the pack.
Just 3 points for Christchurch on that pass. So the score at half-time, 118 to Christchurch and 59 to Auckland.
Now that's interesting. That is an exactly 2-1 score, which is what we had at the end of the last game on this track.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Spooky.
We'll be back in about 15 minutes for the second half. for the beginning of the second half. 30-second line-up whistle. Dead End Derby versus Auckland Roller Derby. The scores currently stand at 118 for the Dead End All-Stars to 59 for Auckland Roller Derby's Bolts, with Evil Knievel and Ellen McKenzie lining up on the Jamac Motors jam line. Dead End taking the front, Auckland taking the back of the pack there. And it's Ellen McKenzie who's away with lead jammer. Evil Knievel whips off the star.
Beautiful pirouetting pass on the inside line, 5 points.
Check, check.
And through with panty in hand. So another 4 points for Auckland there.
9-0 jam.
Auckland leading the second half.
You were saying during the first half, the Track 2 game between Rector City Roller Derby, our hosts, and Dunedin Derby from Dunedin, south of New Zealand. That score went 2-22. Now there's a good test for the microphones. 2-2-2 to 186 in favour of Dunedin.
Thank you, Richie. If anyone has seen an inhaler trackside, can you please hand it in to us? Someone has lost an inhaler.
And of course we want all of our skaters to be on the top of their game.
2 points to Auckland on that last pass. So, score 70 to 116.
And still Auckland winning the second half.
Yes, good strong start to the second half by Auckland. Let's have some noise for Auckland.
Come on, people, you can do better than that.
Let's have some noise for Auckland.
Can't even hear Auckland cheering for Auckland there.
And from Christchurch. There you go, one person, well done. So Smith jamming for Auckland, but through for Christchurch.
Rasmus has lead jammer.
Thank you. So yes, so the loser of the first game plays the loser of this game. Who does the winner of this game play?
Well, now you're getting complicated.
Yeah. So the winner of this game is playing Sun State Killer Bees from Australia.
Razmataz pirouettes there to get through the pack. 5 point pass. She calls it as she hits the pack. 0 points. 0 points for Terasatana there.
Tara doing some good work, but all for nothing in the end. But limiting the scoring opportunity of Christchurch. Iona Shotgun lines up on the Jamac Motors jam line next to Shihad.
I think that evens up the second half there on that jam.
Iona Shotgun being held on the arse of Arsenal. Bit of O from Serious Crash Unit helping her out. But it looks like Shihad's got lead.
She did indeed, and also picked up drew a penalty on the dead end pivot. That's Skulls and Morphine.
And Auckland doing some great defensive work, but Iona Shotgun got the panty in hand and slipped through. And Shihad just calling it off in the nick of time to prevent Christchurch scoring any points.
130 to 75, Dunedin over Auckland at this stage.
So, Evil Knievel for the first time lining up to jam for Christchurch. alongside the slippery fish, Ellen McKenzie. This Auckland wall. Oh.
Evel Knievel, beautiful skipping down along that inside line, but it looks like she just missed her footing there. Can't have been by much, but she has to go and sit down, and as two blockers for Dead End are released from the Garage Project.
It's a very late cut call there. Ooh, and the slippery fish just getting knocked out, rejoining behind the Christchurch wall.
Opportunity now for Ellen McKenzie to pack on a few more points for Auckland. Dead End doing a good job of recycling her and keeping her from doing just that.
Great defensive work from Mighty Bash.
Skate the Muss doing some offense. Ellen McKenzie skipping around the outside, one to beat.
One-on-one with Fury.
Oh. And Fury knocks her to the inside, but loses her own footing, so.
We've got another frozen jammer in the box for Christchurch, in the garage box.
Well, they have to keep the beer cool, right?
Exactly. So Renwick with the power jam for Auckland. Solid offence off the line from Auckland.
Evel Knievel was standing in the box at the beginning of the jam, and she has skipped round that Auckland pack. Not quite quick enough to beat Renwick to lead jammer, but close enough that she forces Renwick to call the jam immediately. No points scored.
We have a timeout. Christchurch timeout.
Team timeout sponsored by Tiki Wine.
I'll tell you about Tiki Wine.
Score stands at 130 for Dead End Derby from Christchurch, and from the City of Sales, Auckland Roller Derby, 80 points.
Tiki Wine and Vineyards are an indigenous NZ Māori wine producer that is committed to sustainable wine growing. They care for their vines under the guiding Māori principles of kaitaikitanga, guardianship, protection and preservation of the earth. A family-owned business, the name Tiki honours the owner's great-great-grandfather, but also Tiki represents a hand-carved Māori treasure, which when gifted bestows good fortune and love on others.
I understand if you carve a tiki, if you go into carving tiki, it's tradition that you must give the first one away. After that, I suppose you're allowed to keep them for yourself.
Smith lining up with Mayhem, but only two in the wall for Christchurch. A fairly busy garage project box, and Smith being held back by those two. Serious crash unit and number 55, Baddy. Bit of offence from Fury on the Auckland wall, but they run back Mayhem, and sure enough, Smith through as your lead jammer.
Mayhem causing a bit of mayhem up the front there, and does break free of the pack now.
Yeah. Some solid O from Christchurch helping Mayhem through. So 0 points for Christchurch on that pass. Officials discussing a multiplayer block potential. And 3 points to Auckland, scored by Smith, as Shihard and Razmataz line up on the Gemac Motors jam line.
Definitely a little bit of discussion there between the referees as to whether there was a penalty to be called.
Another big pack advantage to Auckland at the start of this jam.
And we do have two skaters sitting in the Garage Project penalty box, both of them from Dead End Derby. giving Auckland a 4-2 pack advantage, but not lead jammer.
Shihad through for Auckland.
Razmataz quickly through on that inside line, calls the jam.
That was beautiful by Razmataz.
134-83 is the score. That 50-point margin hasn't moved much since early in the first half. Auckland keeping pace with Dead End.
Timeout now called by the officials, I believe. So that's sponsored by Tiaro. Tiaro Physiotherapy and Pilates. Meanwhile, lining up for the next jam with Shotgun and the Slippery Fish Mackenzie. So they're lining up on the Gemac Motor Services jam line. Gordon McIntosh has been running his own business for over 30 years. Whether it's a warrant of fitness, oil change, service or vehicle repairs, it's a one-stop shop located on Parliament Street near Station Village and Western Hutt train stations for easy access into town after dropping the car off.
Mackenzie around the inside line, nice little hip bump there from Brittany Baker to keep her from skipping round the dead end wall, but she just skips her way around the other side.
Another big pack advantage to Auckland in this jam. Third jam in the row where they've started with only 2 in the wall. Christchurch.
Fouled out, doing his foul imitation for Iona Shotgun.
Another 4 points for Auckland, slowly clawing it back. Got there in the end. Thanks, Papa Bene. Renwick lining up with Mayhem on the Gemac Motors jam line. Bit of confusion on the Thundies pivot line.
3-on-3 in the pack. Tight pack this time.
Renwick round the outside. Oh.
And she's already picked up lead jammer.
So she's lead. She's been re-signed behind the wall.
And meanwhile, Mayhem's away, so Renwick calls the jam. Razmataz lining up next to Skate the Muss. The Gemac Motors jammer line. Admiring Grand Cru Marcou's moustache here, not in the normal place.
And straight through, lead jammer, Razmataz, followed closely by the Muss.
Razmataz whips past the pack there, picks up a quick 4 points and calls the jam.
So the score now 87 Auckland, 138 to Christchurch.
And still that margin is sitting right around 50.
So that's Smith lining up with Iona Shotgun. And the Gemac Motors jam line. Through is Iona, followed very closely by Smith. Sass rejoining the track to wall up with her teammates on the Auckland wall.
Garage Project penalty box now clear of skaters.
2 points scored by Christchurch.
So we'll have 5-on-5 for the next jam.
Shehard lining up with Mayhem. Or a little bit behind Mayhem.
Quite a bit behind Mayhem.
She wants a runner.
Always interesting to see different styles taken by the jammers. But it's Mayhem through with lead jammer.
Shehard rolling off the track on the outside.
The reverse Superman, that one, I think. Scrambling defence by Auckland roller derby there. Mayhem
hit from us.
Hammering away at that wall, and she's finally through, but that's taken a lot of energy to do that. Great defence by Auckland.
Meanwhile, we've had a star pass to Muss, who's now your jammer.
Being recycled back. Pivot cover now surplus to requirements.
So that's full 5 points for Christchurch on that pass, 0 from us.
Woo. Some hard work done there by Mayhem. A deep breath as she called the jam.
So Mackenzie lining up with Evil Knievel. Score 87 to 149 now. Christchurch favour.
Once again, the pack started off up by the Thunderpants pivot line, and drifting their way back now towards the jammers.
Thunderpants are the ultimate undies. Made in New Zealand to exact specifications to give their undies just enough stretch to stay up and on. You'll never be caught with a wedgie wearing Thunderpants. We're super excited that Thundies make our travel uniforms, that's Richter's travel uniforms, and they love to show them off. Thunderpants.co.nz.
Meanwhile, we have an official review. Wooden Spoon Ice Cream official review called by DED Derby. Head referee Victor hearing the complaint.
Good, the DJ's back. This has been missing. You can even have it running in the back.
Yeah, as long as it's right. Evil Knievel dancing back and forth along the Auckland line. She's broken them up. Skipping along the outside line. That was a beautiful move, and she is through for lead jammer.
Wow, she knew exactly where her toes were there. Absolutely. Right on the line.
Slippery Fish Mackenzie slipping her way through the dead end wall.
A mighty, mighty bash being sent to the Garage Project box for a direction of play, I believe. And Slippery Fish scoring some points. A scoring pass. Full 4. Whilst Evil not calling it off in time to stop Auckland scoring some, but she's picked up 4 as well. So all you need when you're in the lead.
And we're halfway through the second half, 15 minutes to play.
Razmataz lining up with Renwick.
That was a tight-fought lead jammer. There's Razmataz that comes out ahead. Just 5 blockers on the track. Pack racing away from Razmataz. She picks up 4 points there. Calls the jam.
So the score now 158 to Christchurch, 91 to the Auckland Bolts. And a slight pack advantage to Christchurch this time, with Sass in the Garage Project box standing. We have Smith against Iona Shotgun, straight round the outside. Some great O off the line from Serious Crash Unit.
And nothing Sass could have done about that. She rejoined the pack very soon after the whistle, but Iona Shotgun already through for lead jammer.
Smith through for Auckland. 4 points for Iona Shotgun. It runs it for as long as she can.
Calls it off rather than chase down that last jammer point. 162 to dead end, 91 to Auckland roller derby.
Muss lining up to jam for Auckland, up against Mayhem.
Do they stick to the timetable even though they're ahead? This game is meant to be 2. It's going to finish before 2.
Mayhem on Muss.
Mayhem shucking the shoulders back and forth there. Jammer on jammer, Muss pushing her out.
Ooh, and they're both down.
They both hit the floor.
Auckland wall reforming in front of Mayhem. Terror with the big shoulder. Not enough to keep her back, or is it?
And it's Muss that comes through for lead jammer after Mayhem actually got the better of the double fall. So good work there from Skate the Muss.
Iona Shotgun slightly faster on that lap than her, so she's got less time to score the points. Both jammers scoring 0 points.
That was a good tussle, that jam.
Good jammer on jammer action. Next we have Shihad lining up on the Gemac Motors jam line with Evil K. Neville.
Grinding away at the packs there, both jammers finding it hard to make a hole.
Good offense
And as soon as
Maddie helping her through, sorry.
As soon as I say that, of course, Evil Knievel through for lead.
The curse of the commentator, as Arsenal sent to the box, the Garage Project box, as is Evil Knievel. It's a power jam for Auckland. And Shihad jamming for Auckland.
Tight defence from Dead End Derby.
The mighty Bash has been sent back to the penalty box, Garage Project penalty box, as Arsenal comes out. And she's made her initial pass, has Shihad, but at the same time, right in front of her is Evil Knievel rejoining. Evil Knievel through on her initial, so it's up to Shihad to bank the points now.
Oh, nice little apex jump there from Evil Knievel to pick up 4 points going past the Auckland pack.
Awesome jamming by Evil. This time she's stopped by Arsenal. Solid
4 for Shihad too, sorry. She skips her way around the last 2 blockers. Just 2 on the track for Dead End.
Zebra going down as well.
And Evil's round the outside for another 4 points.
That Auckland wall held her back for some time there.
Absolutely.
But another 5 points on that last pass by Evil.
And 3 for Auckland.
So that takes Auckland over 100 points.
11 points to 8 for that jam, 170 for dead end.
9 minutes left on the clock.
Quick skip round the back there by Razmataz. But it's Ellen McKenzie who seems to be making the most of it. No, but knocked to the inside.
Solid defense by Terra.
Both jammers scrambling back and forth across the back of the wall.
That Auckland wall of Terra, Flirty Harry and Pyroclastic Flow, not enough to keep Razmataz through lead jammer. And
Serious crash unit leaning hard on Helen McKenzie there, but she's picked up a penalty for it. Cheering her team on as she heads to the Garage Project penalty box.
So we've got 2 stakes, Renwick lining up on the jam line. So called because she once ate 2 steaks with Iona shotgun next to her.
Renwick recycled, but she sees a gap.
Oh, she's through, but she's stumbled.
Has picked up lead.
She's taken out by...
I think that's Degenerate, was it?
On a scoring pass.
One player from each team sitting in the Garage Project penalty box as Renwick calls the jam.
Renwick banking 5 more points on that pass.
174 to 107.
I think I need a Garage Project beer.
I have no idea.
It's a shame when the sponsor can't be sold.
It actually sounds like quite a good meal, doesn't it? I mean, Antohito's taco,
Yeah.
and the wooden spoon ice cream, and a Garage Project beer to wash it down.
Some pills and thrills.
Absolutely.
So only one team on the jam line because Christchurch have called a timeout. 6 minutes 50 left on the clock. And that's a team timeout sponsored by Tiki Wine.
Which would also be good with an Antohito's taco and a wooden spoon ice cream. Yeah?
Exactly. I don't know about wine and ice cream, not the perfect match. Right, so Smith lining up alongside Mayhem. So we got a Perori wall there with Muss and Terra holding Mayhem with Venus Thigh Trap backwards controlling.
A huge lean on Mayhem there, just pushing hard with her toe stops.
Smith pushing, 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 stretching the pack. Arsenal rejoining her wall.
And the pack's gotten stretched out and the penalties are starting to come.
So Muss in the Garage Project box, and she's joined by an angry baddie. So another 3 points. 3 points to Auckland. Yeah, he's got his little finger in.
Just under 6 minutes to play in this game. 174 to dead end, 110 to Auckland's Bolts.
So only 64 in it, with 5 minutes to go.
A good power jam or two.
Yep. So Shehard coming against the wall of Mighty Bash, Baker.
Flirty Harry going to sit down in the Garage Project box.
And that's Evil Knievel with lead on her scoring pass.
Changing places will skate them off.
Round the outside on 1 foot. Let's hear it for Evil Knievel.
Some hustle from Baker there. Oh, beautiful pirouette there from Evil Knievel.
Must just slightly mistiming that hip. And Must now with the helmet cover.
5-on-5 again on the track.
Must now with the star on her head.
Evil Knievel shucking and jiving her way through the pack again for another 5 points. 20 points for this jam so far, and it's not over yet.
It's a big one from Christchurch as Must gets through. And Evil sees her approaching and calls off the jam.
And that'll make it 23 for the jam, 197 for dead end to Auckland's 110. 4 minutes to play.
So Mackenzie and Razmataz lining up. No players in the Garage Project box, so we've got a full complement of skaters on track from both teams.
Both packs draw back towards the jammers. Razmataz puts the shoulder in and then hustles her way up to the Auckland pack.
Mackenzie taken off on the inside.
But it's broken up the pack and she's quickly back to work. Both jammers being recycled now. Razmataz got back to the track faster, but Ellen Mackenzie is out in front.
So we have no
both jammers, both jammers being signalled not lead.
So 1 minute 25 on this jam. No, there's been a change of... Right, Mackenzie was lead jammer.
And called the jam.
Yeah. About a second after she was told that she was lead jammer.
2 points for dead end in that jam. 199 for them. 110 for Auckland.
Renwick and Iona Shotgun lining up together on the Jamac Motors jam line. Auckland with a slight pack advantage.
Who's that? Degenerate.
Degenerate back on track for Christchurch, so both teams with full decks on the table. And neither jammer through. Spoke too soon.
Once again, the little pirouette from the dead end jammer to clear the pack.
Renwick still pushing. Up against Degenerate, Fury, and Serious Crash Unit. That's a solid wall.
Iona Shotgun skipping her way through the Auckland wall and around her own pack.
Renwick now through.
That's the 200 up for Dead End Derby. And a good clear call from Iona Shotgun to end the jam, picking up another 4 on that last pass.
So Smith lining up for Auckland alongside Mayhem. And again, we've got a strong defensive pack from Auckland with Flirty Harry, Arsenal, and the Porori sisters, Terra and Mus. An equally strong defensive line from Christchurch.
A bit of offense coming in from Flirty Harry.
This is excellent defensive work by both teams here. Smith being run back, but ultimately Christchurch getting lead. With mayhem.
Arsenal taking quite a heavy hit there. The danger of skating backwards on the track.
Yeah, Arsenal looks winded there. Maybe a hit to the neck. And it's like there's an official review being called by Auckland. I think that's associated with Arsenal's pain. So that's an official review, sponsored by Wooden Spoon Ice Cream.
Although they haven't told us where we can get a Wooden Spoon ice cream around the track here. So if anyone from Rector City Roller Derby knows whether we can get Wooden Spoon ice cream here at the venue, we'd love to know.
Send us some samples.
Absolutely, yeah.
I didn't see who it was who came into contact with Arsenal, but she's pointing. That would make sense.
Is that 2 seconds left on the period clock?
I think it is. So 2 seconds left in this game.
212 to DED Derby All-Stars, 110 to Auckland Roller Derby's Bolts, and we will, I assume, get one more jam as a result of this official review.
Might as well be there.
I don't think that's what Brem was thinking. She's just curious. So it's the slippery fish Mackenzie up against Evil, but she's straight through and calls it off, and that's the end of the game. So it very much looks like, in the unofficial score, that Auckland will be playing Richter next, and Christchurch will be playing Sun State.
And that is the first game of this tournament that has gone to the seed.
Wow. Let's have some noise for Christchurch, your winners. Woo! And let's have some noise for Auckland. Thanks, Christchurch. Let's get trackside and touch some hands.